Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 18 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Just picking it up where we left off with the new Mega Blastoise team that we featured pretty recently. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi in my apartment went out recently, so I'm not able to upload videos while I'm back here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to pre-record a bunch today, and then when I go to work tomorrow, I'll just bring my laptop and upload it while I'm there. So yeah, apologies because I was trying to get back into the swing of things and then kind of missed a day or two here, but we are just going to pick up where we left off. This week is going to be really exciting because, of course, the NA International Championships is coming up, and that's pretty much the last major tournament before the World Championships, which is taking place in August, and that tournament is going to be streamed entirely from Friday to Sunday, so if you want more details on that, check out the link in the description below. Of course, I'll be commentating that. I think I'm also probably going to try to do scheduled videos right before the stream starts for each day, so you guys can watch the video and then right afterwards head over to the stream and check out all the good action. So yeah, that should be pretty exciting. I brought this team actually to like a local tournament in Mexico, which is pretty close to where I am yesterday, and it was pretty exciting to try out. I ended up having Tapu Koko and Incineroar over the Tapu Bulu and the Hydreigon just because I wanted to try those out. It actually did pretty well. I made it to the top 4, but then I had to drop out to leave. But overall, it was really fun to play, and I think there is definitely a lot of potential for a team archetype like this. It was just there were some very noticeable holes that I think I want to be able to patch up moving forward, and might try to do like a team building video about this after I'm done using it. We're going to find our first opponent of the day, Silver from France, with a rating of 1650 to kick off this episode. Running a very standard Chalk-esque team. These are the teams that basically have been rising in popularity very recently, especially after Paul Chua won, I think it was Madison Regionals, with a team comp like this. And so really it takes us back to 2015. That year was Cresselia, Heatran, Amoonguss, Landorus, Kangaskhan. Now you get some cool tools with the Tapu Fini and the Kartana. So when I built this team, I imagined that it had a pretty good matchup against Chalk, so we'll see if that actually holds true. I'm thinking I'm just going to go Drifblim, Lele, Blastoise, and Hydreigon. Sorry, not Hydreigon. The Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is pretty nice because I can one-shot things like Landorus, Fini, Kangaskhan if I'm not intimidated potentially. I've got superpower for the Kartana and the Heatran as well. The only scary thing about teams like this is the potential Trick Room. Like, you never know whether they're carrying Icy Wind, Trick Room, or maybe both. So that's always kind of tricky. Hydreigon is also a pretty good Pokemon to bring into this matchup, but I like Bulu a little bit more because it's faster, so even if Tailwind runs out, I'll be able to outspeed everything. And I also get another means of terrain control, which can be really important in burning the Kartana and the Kangaskhan, which are grounded and are protected by misty terrain. So I think I'm going to go with those. I'll lock in, and we'll see how this goes. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Ranked, please share support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. There's some pretty exciting stuff coming up this week in addition to NA Internationals. So yeah, really excited just to get back into the swing of things. Anyway, let's see what my opponent leads. I feel like typically Cresselia comes out as a lead here. I did play against like a Chalk-esque team yesterday in that mini tournament. It was a mid-season showdown, but he had like Cresselia, Zapdos, Tapu Fini, Porygon, Incineroar, and Landorus. And yeah, the Kangaskhan plus Zapdos combination was kind of annoying, especially because his Kangaskhan had Protect. So getting Water Spouts off consistently was kind of tricky. It's going to be Tapu Fini and Heatran here for my opponent, which I don't think I mind too much. This is interesting. So, I'm not going to have terrain control, but, I mean, Heatran really doesn't pose too much of a threat to either of my Pokemon. If I can chunk down the Tapu Fini, then the Blastoise can come in and just basically start Water Spouting. The only issue is, I don't know if Shadow Ball plus Moonblast will do enough to proc Fini's potential berry should it have it. Fini is often Calm Mind, and that's what I expect. It could be like Waterium Z too, but there are so many potential Z movers on my opponent's team. Landorus, Kartana, Crest, Fini, all of those could use a Z move. So yeah, because I'm not really worried about Heatran at all, I'm just going to try to chunk down the Fini immediately with a Shadow Ball and a Moonblast. Actually, I'm trying to think. I could Tailwind and Moonblast and then finish the Fini off with a potential Z move the next turn. Yeah, I like that more. Although, I don't anticipate Lele going down. Nope, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm running out of time. Yeah, so the reason why I didn't want to Tailwind here is I actually don't anticipate Tapu Lele going down this turn, as Tapu Fini actually switches out, so I'll get a lot of free damage off. Into Kartana, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's probably fainted Kartana here. It could be Assault Vest though. It looks like it is. But another Moonblast will be able to finish it off. Or sorry, another Shadow Ball will be able to finish it off. Actually, it's kind of close, as Heatran actually opts for the taunt onto the Drifloon. So it actually does prevent me from setting up Tailwind, but we know that's Assault Vest Kartana. Yeah, that Moonblast actually did a lot less than I anticipated. So this must be really bulky. I think I'll just Shadow Ball Protect here, though. That seems like the safest play. I don't want to be in a position where Kartana just knocks out Tapu Lele. One thing that's interesting is Assault Vest Kartana has obviously been pretty common on these team comps, but a lot of them are opting for a lot more bulk and choosing to give up speed investment as a whole. So before in VGC 2017, often when you saw Assault Vest Kartana, it'd often be as Kartana switches out, maybe in a Kangaskhan? Into Cresselia. Okay, so we know all of my opponent's Pokemon, which is already pretty good. We know Heatran is Taunt, but it's not going to be able to do too much otherwise. And I'm just getting consistent damage off right now with Shadow Ball, which is good. Ooh, that's a crit, I think. Yeah. And the Flamethrower goes into Protect, which is perfect. So, that's... I actually don't know if I like that crit, because without that crit, I think 2 Shadow Balls would bring Cresselia just under Berry range. I am slightly worried about Trick Room right now, so I think I'm actually going to go for the Shadow Ball into Heatran, and I'm going to taunt the Cresselia. I'm at a point now where I could potentially get Blastoise in once Tapu Lele goes down and just start Water Spouting everything. Now that I know Heatran is Taunt, I do want to be able to go for a Tailwind in the upcoming turns. But I've gotten a lot of free damage off, and my opponent hasn't gotten any mileage off so far, which is pretty good. So the turn 1 play was nice because... yeah, I'm just surprised my opponent's just making all these switches because I'm getting a lot of free damage off, but I'm certainly not one to complain. I really want to double up onto Cresselia, but one, I can't afford Trick Room going up immediately right now. I'm getting, some free damage off with all these Shadow Balls, and by denying Trick Room, I know I'll have speed control going into the next couple of turns of the game. But Crest is going to opt for Icy Wind, so that's not too surprising. Either way, Drifloon is still going to be faster. I think Taunt's wearing off after this turn too, which is good. So, let's see. Yeah, he's just going to Flamethrower into Lele, probably. Yep, fine with me. Cool. So, now... Oh, I'm still taunted. That's my bad. Okay. He's probably going to Icy Wind again with Cresselia, but I think Drifloon should still outspeed things, and then I just get Blastoise in for free, so even if he taunts me, I'm fine. Yeah, so I'm going to just go for the Shadow Ball. And the... Oh, I could taunt Heatran to prevent him from taunting me. Yeah, I like that. Just because I think I win the game if I just get Blastoise in and then Tailwind as Crest switches out. Back out into Kartana? Into Feeny, okay. It's a good switch, I think. But now this Heatran is going to be rendered a little bit more useless. Yeah, so Shadow Ball, 4-hit knockout, but slowly / surely knocking it out. And there's just another Flamethrower. Yep, that's fine. Into Lele, also fine. Because now I finally get to bring in Blastoise, which was what I wanted to go for way earlier on. So Blastoise will come out now. It should already outspeed things. So I'm thinking I don't know if it outspeeds Heatran, that's the main question. But I know Heatran's taunted, so it's probably just going to want to switch out. But I still am going to go for Tailwind because... Actually, is there a need for Tailwind? I'm worried about Calm Mind Feeny. And if Kartana comes out, it's going to take Water Spout chip anyway. But let's say Heatran stays in and I knock it out. Then he gets a free switch in. So I should still Tailwind here, yeah. I'm going to Tailwind and Water Spout. Now, dealing with Feeny is obviously kind of tricky, but I've got Bulu. So if I eliminate Heatran and Kartana, then that clears the way for Bulu to just Woodhammer everything and win the game. So this has been a kind of long game so far, but I feel like I still like my positioning. Getting like a Moonblast or a Z-move into the Feeny when it switched in would have been nice, but I can't complain too much about that. So this will be Crest coming in instead of the Kartana. I am not sure whether Water Spout will do enough to knock it out. Cresselia is very, very bulky. Which is why I kind of wanted to Shadow Ball the Feeny. Especially because it could be going for a potential Calm Mind, and those Calm Minds will be kind of annoying. But here's the Water Spout. Let's see if it's enough to knock out Crest. If it is, that puts me in a really good spot. Oh, and it hangs on with like 1 HP. But interestingly enough, actually does not have a berry, so that very likely is Z-move for Celia, which is pretty typical on these team comps. So Feeny will go for the first of Calm Minds, but the Misty Terrain will disappear, which is actually kind of interesting. I might want to consider going for a Will-O-Wisp here, just so that it's basically getting chipped down every turn. Yeah. I could Shadow Ball too. Shadow Ball could give me a special defense decrease. But I think I want to get the ball rolling with the residual damage every turn. Yeah. So I'm just going to Will-O-Wisp and Water Spout here. It's a pretty safe free play. Feeny Moonblast is annoying, but I don't even know if it two-shots Blastoise. Cresselia swaps out, which I'm not sure I really quite agree with, because Heatran's one of the bigger threats to my team. Like, I'm happy to see that, just because now that's one of the bigger threats to my Bulu out of the way. So it's not every day you see a Tapu Fini getting burned, but yeah. Now, you know, the damage will tick down slowly, and that's important. Another free Water Spout comes out. Fini just over 50%. Calm Mind Fini is very annoying for my team to deal with, which is why I needed to bring the Tapu Bulu. Here's a Moonblast coming out. Going into the Drifloon, actually, which is kind of surprising. That actually does more than I would like to say I'm comfortable with. Yeah, this will be a close finish, I think, even though I feel like I have a pretty good matchup. You have to bring out Crest right now, I think, and sacrifice it. If I can hang on from another Moonblast, though, then I definitely win. But it's Kartana coming out, which is kind of an interesting decision. So I've got 2 more turns of Tailwind. I think I should be able to just win this game now. Let me think. I want to just Rain Dance Water Spout. That guarantees me a knockout, because we know Kartana's Assault Vest. So my win con is basically getting Tapu Bulu out and knocking out the Tapu Fini. So yeah, I think if I... Is there any reason to Rain Dance? It does ensure that I knock out Kartana, I do more damage against Tapu Fini. So yeah, I am going to Rain Dance and Water Spout. So if Kartana switches out into Cresselia, then the Cresselia faints, and this is exactly what is going to happen. But I've still got 1 more turn of Tailwind, so then I can just Ice Beam the Kartana, and then Wood Hammer the Tapu Fini. And we know he can't protect either, so I feel like this covers all my options and I should be good. Only downside is if Fini maybe crits knocks out Blastoise, but then I can just still Shadow Ball. But I don't know if Shadow Ball is going to do enough. I guess that's the main question. Yeah, so Fini's taking these really well, but I'm slowly chunking it down with the Drifloon and a Blastoise. Should have a berry here, yep. But now its heal is out of the way, and it's going to still lose HP every turn from the burn. There's a Moonblast. Going to target down the Blastoise, which I think is the correct target. No crit. Does get a special attack drop, but I know that that's Assault Vest Kartana, so I think I've got this game wrapped up. All I have to do is double up into the Kartana, guarantee that knockout, and then Bulu wraps up this game, which was exactly why I had to bring Bulu in the first place. So I feel pretty good about all this. Ultimately, the berries are what are probably the most annoying things to play around. Because like if Cresselia had a berry there, I would have stuck around for a lot longer, which would have been annoying. But yeah, I'm guessing it has the Z move, because Kartana obviously doesn't have the Z move. Didn't look like Heatran did. Fini had the berries, so yeah. Psychium Z Cresselia is really common on these team comps. You're able to one-shot a lot of Amoonguses and just get a lot of free chip damage off if you use it properly. So Shadow Ball actually does get the knockout there into Kartana anyway. So even if had my opponent crit the Blastoise, I would have been fine. Either way, yeah, I've been chunking away at this Fini. It's been calm-minded, so I'm really not doing any damage. But with Tapu Bulu in the back, this game is over. So yeah, pretty good highlight, I think, of what this team can do against these team compositions, or these Kangaskhan team compositions. It's part of the reason why I wanted to use Blastoise, because Water Spam is super, super good. So I can just bring out Bulu now and go for the knockout onto Fini. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm trying to think. It's not too much my opponent... I don't know. My opponent just switched out so much to the point where it gave me a lot of free damage, and my opponent really couldn't recover from that. So I guess that was kind of surprising that my opponent was willing to give up so much damage consistently. But obviously I'll take that. And my DS is dying, so I do gotta charge it. Fini is gonna protect, but I mean, with Scarf Bulu, there's no way it's able to salvage this one. And yeah, that's exactly why I brought Bulu. I think anytime I see Fini, I'm forced to at least bring... Pretty much I'm forced to bring Bulu, actually. because you can see that my answers against the Feeny otherwise are very, very shady. Like, look how little damage I was doing with Shadow Ball and Water Pulse. Once it gets one combined up, it's just really ugly. The other solution is basically to attack around the berry, but in this game I did eventually end up proccing the berry, just because... Like, in this game it was fine, because I knew I had Bulu in the back. So once my opponent gave up Heatran, that made my life a lot easier. But we do pick up a win in a pretty long and drawn-out game in the first game today. But, yeah, I'm pretty content about that one. I feel like, you know, the lead worked out pretty decently. I was surprised to see, like, Feeny and Heatran as a lead. And for the Feeny just to switch out immediately. What I was going for was, like, hoping... I think, what did I do? I Shadow Ball and Moonblast it. So I was hoping that that would put it just under berry range, enough where another Moonblast would just be able to knock it out, as it Calm Minded. And then what I would do the next turn is Tailwind and go for the Moonblast into Feeny. If the Feeny switches out, then, you know, I'm in a pretty good spot because then Blastoise comes in for free. So the turn one basically didn't play out the way I expected it to, but it still worked out quite nicely. I think, yeah, like I said, I designed this team mainly in knowing that these teams were kind of common in the format, so I'm glad at least it worked out pretty well. But that was still a scary game. I feel like even though I had so much of upper leg from the start, like the fact that the Tapu Fini was so bulky was just really difficult to deal with, because I was just chipping it away very, very slowly. But yeah, that's why I had Bulu in the back, and fortunately enough, I was able to take care of all of Bulu's threats to clean out that game. We're going to find McDonald's from Peru with a rating of 1596 for our second opponent. Running another, this is actually, I think, the exact same team from the last game. And actually, yeah, I was really surprised like Kangaskhan didn't come out that last game. I felt like that would have given my opponent a pretty big leg up. So, did not expect to face two of the exact same teams back to back, but we'll see if we can approach the same strategy. I don't see any reason to deviate from the Pokemon that I brought, so I will just go with those. So, yeah, we'll see if we can go 2 for 2 on beating these Kangaskhan teams. The last game, I think, ended up being easier than I expected because the lead matchup worked out quite nicely for me. I was able to get a lot of free damage off, and the Cresselia not having the berry made my life a little bit easier. Yeah, I was really worried when it hung out with literally 1 HP because I was like, oh, now it's going to heal all the way back up, and I'm going to have to focus my efforts more on that because I'm still worried it potentially has Trick Room. Ended up not being the case. Amoonguss, I don't think there's really too many great reasons to bring here. If I had Rocky Helmet, maybe, for Kangaskhan. But I can only spore 2 things if Tapu Fini is Misty Terrain is up, and that's Cresselia and Landorus. Like Cresselia, like I mentioned, often has the Z move, so that can just dunk on Amoonguss. Once again, Hydreigon, definitely a Pokemon I'd really like to bring, but I feel like Lele, Blastoise, and Drifloon are unnecessary, and then I need the 4th Pokemon to beat Tapu Fini. If I brought Hydreigon, Fini can literally 1v4 me, so I can't afford to do that. Alright, so let's see how the second matchup goes. I think my opponent had pretty standard sets that last game. If anything, but if, you know, my opponent had a Kangaskhan over the Heatran, which I expect to see as a lead here, it's going to be trickier. There is a Kangaskhan too. The reason why this is tricky is because my opponent has a lot of potential plays to make on this first turn. For example, you could switch out the Cresselia out into Tapu Fini if you are expecting a Will-O-Wisp. And that is what's really tricky. How do I want to approach this? I want to protect Lele turn 1, honestly, and just Shadow Ball Cresselia. Obviously, I'm worried about Calm Mind from the... Or not Calm Mind, sorry. Although Calm Mind actually is kind of rising on these Cresselias as well. I'm worried about Trick Room, but... I don't think I have, like, a completely safe play here. But if I Shadow Ball, and... I just don't know how fast the Kangaskhan is. They're often max speed. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball into Crest, expecting to switch into Fini and protect Lele, hoping Kangaskhan double edges into it. But both Pokemon stay in, which is not good for me, because that means I could have gone for the Will-O-Wisp on a Kangaskhan immediately. Which is kind of frustrating. Thought you surely have to switch in Fini there to block a Will-O-Wisp. But maybe I should have just Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan anyway, because it covers those options. The fact my opponent didn't switch into Fini means maybe he's just not anticipating. Special defense drop there is nice. Kang is going to double edge. Are we going to see a Trick Room? Yeah. So Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan and Taunt Cresselia there would have worked out so nicely for me, but oh well. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here on a Kangaskhan now. I'm hoping this is max speed Kangaskhan, because if it is, then I can just get the Shattered Psyche off, but I don't expect it to be. I should have thought about that a little bit more. Crest is going to switch into Feeny probably, yeah. That's tricky. I don't know. Like, if I Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan and go for the taunt, and Feeny switches in, then I just lose Lele immediately. And yeah, so he's slow Kangaskhan, which is tough. Yeah, it's a really frustrating call, because turn 1, I literally could have just Z-moved the Kangaskhan and eliminated it. But obviously that ended up not being the case. So this game is going to be a lot harder to win, especially because the terrain came out. I'm going to bring in Bulu to hopefully force the Feeny to switch out. Yeah, I don't think I can win this one. I mean, no, it's still too early to say that, but needed to burn Kangaskhan. So, unfortunately, yeah, my opponent having a bulkier Kangaskhan and Trick Room on the Cresselia, which is, like, not crazy for these teams by any means, but I was just assuming more... I was assuming the Feeny to just to switch in immediately. And, yeah, I'll talk about, you know, like I mentioned how Will-O-Wisp taunt wasn't really that safe of a play. I think maybe Will-O-Wisping Kangaskhan and protecting Lele was probably my best option instead of going for the Shadow Ball. So I could have had a better play turn 1 to give me a slightly better shot. I am going to wow the Kangaskhan here, though. I think Kangaskhan's probably forced to switch out. But if it stays in, maybe I can divert a double edge into it. Feeny switches out. Okay, yeah, that's what I expected. Heatran? Crest, that's fine. I can still win this with Crest and Bulu, I think. Double switch, okay. Okay. This is why this is actually still doable, because Heatran just came in. I'm going to give it a Flash Fire boost, yeah, but I do get Blastoise in. The only thing I'm scared of is that Z move. Okay. 2 turns of Trick Room left. I am going to Shadow Ball the Cresselia. Okay, yeah, I can still win this if I just knock out Heatran. Shadow Ball Crest. I think Chris is going to want a Z move. I want to protect Blastoise here. Rain Dance is kind of tempting. No, but then that would force Heatran to switch out immediately. So I don't like that. Yep, I'm just going to Shadow Ball protect here. Good switch. Back out into Feeny? Okay. That's fine. This will be a really interesting game. I thought it was over from the start, but I think it's actually still very doable. I should have Mega Evolved, though. That was a mistake. Especially if I'm getting Z moved. Looks like there is a Z move. So, good to get that out the way. The thing is, Wood Hammer is going to obliterate 3 of my opponent's Pokemon, but it's not going to take care of that Heatran. So there's a Shattered Psyche into Blastoise. Yep. There's no reason not to Mega Evolve there. I just kind of forgot about it. Yeah, that's annoying. Getting a crit through it means I take that much more extra damage, which I'm not a fan of, but I can't complain too much about that. Okay. Let's see. Drifloon can also just beat Heatran because I've got Rain Dance. I don't see the need to Tailwind right now. I think I'm just going to go for the knockout and switch out into Bulu. Yeah. If I can knock out Feeny, then that clears the way for Blastoise. I don't know if I like switching to Bulu here. But I'm trying to maybe force a switch out on my opponent's end. It's just gonna Ice Beam. Is that going into Feet? Okay, Drifloon. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. That's totally okay. Double up on a Drifloon. Yep. Okay, nice. So that's actually really good because Bulu doesn't take any damage, which is exactly what I wanted. Alright, so now I've got the Trick Room user out the way, and Trick Room is over. Heatran presumably comes in. You could bring in Kangaskhan as well, but then I could Will-O-Wisp it potentially. Yeah, so there's Heatran. So this is really interesting now. because I'm going to Rain Dance for sure. You would just think Feeny here surely switches out into Kangaskhan. Or switches out into Kangaskhan. Like, I want to superpower the Heatran really badly. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go for that. I think Feeny has to protect or switch out here, because then you would just lose to Blastoise, and my opponent knows that. So by Rain Dancing and superpowering... Oh, he stayed in? Oh, that's annoying, because I actually would have just won the game outright if I targeted Feeny. But okay, that's fine. Can still do this. See how much superpower does. Oh, that's so much damage. I actually could have just doubled up into that slot. Okay, Moonblast. Into Bulu, yep. Okay. Nice. No burn, please. Okay. So I do hang on. Oh, that's so frustrating that the Feeny just stayed in, though, because that really would have been game right there. Gonna go for the Shadow Ball here onto Heatran and switch out into Blastoise. Yeah, that's a really ballsy call to stay in. I also could have just doubled up into Heatran instead of Rain Dancing. That actually would have worked out better for me, so I kind of wish I did that. So I haven't played perfectly this game by any means. Like, the turn 1 play itself set me back a lot. Put myself in a position to win, but that last turn I could have maybe played better. Now, Heatran doesn't protect. Okay. Can we knock it out with the Shadow Ball here? Okay, nice. So that's out the way now, so Bulu maybe could still do this. Muddy Water's going to come out. Hopefully no accuracy drop. I don't think that knocks out the Drifblim still. Okay. Nice. And Blastoise is actually healing a really good amount right now. Okay, I think this is actually super doable now. I just don't know if Kangaskhan has Sucker Punch or not. That's the one thing I'm worried about. The question also here is, do I Tailwind or Will-O-Wisp? There's still 3 turns of rain. I really want to Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan and Water Pulse it. I'm just so worried about it having Sucker Punch, because I think I lose if it has Sucker Punch. Is there any out if it has Sucker Punch? I don't think so. I'm going to WoW it and Mega Evolve Water Pulse. Ideally, he just double edges the Blastoise. I hit the burn and I knock out Kangaskhan. Let's see. But I think I get faked out here, so it's a question of does it have Sucker Punch or not. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I had the game won. Oh, if I hit that, he loses, yeah. Oh, that's so obnoxious. Okay, it's still not over if he doesn't have Sucker Punch, but if he does, it's over. I can't be too sad about that because I win this game 85% of the time. And I think I made the best play possible there. It just sucks that he got bailed out by that, because Blastoise definitely hangs on. Alright, so I'm going to Horn Leech here. I don't even know if that's enough to knock out Kang, but I gotta target Kang here. If he has Sucker Punch, I would lose. Yeah, he had it. So the question is, did he have Fake Out or not? Because if he had Faked Out, he should have just Faked Out Blastoise and gone for an attack. So yeah, that's frustrating, because with WoW and Water Pulse, Kangaskhan definitely goes down there, because my Blastoise should be able to hang on. He's going to take enough recoil. Water Pulse, even if it doesn't do enough, he should do enough there in the rain. So yeah, kind of a frustrating game, but I'm at least decently content because I felt like I was in a pretty big hole in the beginning, and I was able to at least claw my way out of it and be in a position where I basically had the winning play. But obviously, yeah, Will-O-Wisp isn't 100% accurate, so that's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. I think my turn 1 play could have been a little bit better, because I could have gone for... I think what I should have done was just Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan and protected Tapu Lele, because then even if you Trick Room, I at least burn the Kangaskhan. Yeah. And if Fini switches in, then I can just switch out into Bulu the next turn and burn the Kangaskhan, and that still actually puts me in a pretty good spot. So, yeah, by not making the best play turn 1, it set myself back a little bit going into the next couple of turns, and then that last play was really frustrating. I don't know if, yeah, like often Kangaskhan's might have Protect instead of Fake Out. We saw Double Edge, we saw Sucker Punch, probably Low Kick, so Protect, Fake Out, even Ice Punch. So yeah, I think if my opponent had Fake Out and you Fake Out Blastoise, then I just lose the game because you can Sucker Punch my Bulu. But my opponent also might not necessarily know my moveset, so there would have been some mind games in there. But ultimately, yeah, unfortunately I made the play that would have helped me win. But yeah, you can't always hit those Will-O-Wisps. Either way though, I think that was a pretty good game to learn from because I got punished pretty heavily for not making the best play turn 1. And in a best of 3, I think this would look really differently because now I know, okay, it's slower Kangaskhan, so I could have just Psychium Z the Kangaskhan turn 1. Cresselia does have Trick Room, but yeah, I tried to play it safe, and the Shadow Ball Protect play just wasn't that great. I was just really expecting Crest to switch into Fini, so when that didn't happen, it set me back a fair amount. So good game to my opponent. Pretty well played, I think. But I think that game highlights how like my team does stack up decently against those Cresselia teams, because even with Trick Room going up, I was still able to force a lot of switches on my opponent's end, which I was able to capitalize off of. Another play I could have done better was just going for the Wood Hammer onto the Fini slot, because I think Heat Wave probably doesn't even two-shot my Bulu if I get Rain Up. So what I was worried about was Fini protecting and then switching into Kangaskhan, and me taking 2 Heat Waves. But the more I look at it, I think the more it is better just to... Well, I guess I was worried about the Wood Hammer recoil, so I could have I should have gone for the Horn Leech onto Fini and Rain Dance instead of Superpowering. So that actually was a pretty bad play looking back at it too. I could have Shadow Ball Superpowered into Heatran, Rain Dance Horn Leeched, and Horn Leech probably knocks out Kangaskhan from that range too. So I'd heal back everything like Heatran would be doing. So looking back, actually, yeah, even though the WoW play, like the WoW miss was unfortunate, that actually was a bigger deal. I should have thought about that a little bit more. Just thought I was super confident on Fini switching out or protecting there. Neither happened. If I go for the Horn Leech, the game is pretty much over right there. So good to reflect on, because even though I got a little bit unlucky there in the end, yeah, that probably would have won me the game. I had 2 pretty big misplays, I would say, earlier on in the game that set me back a fair amount. So if I just thought about those turns more, I wouldn't have even been in that kind of position. So yeah, kind of deep, long analysis there, but I do think I made a couple of mistakes in that game, and could have played a lot better on those 2 specific turns. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you guys as always for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like. More videos to be coming up this upcoming week. Everything is in the description below. Pastes for the last couple of teams and the QR codes. And of course, information for NA Internationals. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace.